Hey, this is Devel. I am a programmer, a full stack web developer and Android app developer and designer. I am also a graphic designer. You are therefore privileged, for you are going to do what they entail from scratch. Remember, expert doesn't mean grasping the syntax of a certain language, but the ability to use that language to solve a real life problem. You can like, comment, subscribe, and hit a notification bell. Don't share. Let it remain be a secret between me and you if you don't like your neighbor. Well, so let me show you a general summary of what you shall escalate into the entire channel. Thank you. I will start with the web development. So in web development, the technology involves around the browser. So why are you saying the browsers? Because browsers enable us to access to the internet, or they enable the computers to access to the internet. So those browsers have their inbuilt languages that you are going to discuss more. So in web, it is divided into two main parts. So the first part is front-end developer. So in front-end developer is where the programmers design the user interfaces and implement them. A good example is like WhatsApp. When someone is online, it will show you someone is online. When someone is typing, somewhere a small text will tell you typing. So that is a good example of front end. So it involves the client side, or what you are interacting with on the screen. So some of the languages used there which are popular and standard. The first one is HTML, which stands for Hypertext Markup Language. So I will explain it later, but for now let us just preview the client-side languages. So HTML, a good illustration, they only show a skeletal overview of the web page in terms of text in black and white. So the next language is CSS, meaning cascading style sheet. So this one is a styling language or decorating language. So it decorates HTML text, like things like color. When you see color on the screen, just know that it's CSS. So the next language is JS or JavaScript. So this one makes HTML and CSS content to be dynamic or have a live interaction with the user. So it means if you are learning, you have to start from, it is recommended to start from HTML as the list goes down, because the languages depend on each other. Then we also have things we call frameworks. So frameworks are just automated classes of the above three languages, so that in future, in advanced stage, you are not allowed to code them entirely from scratch. Like HTML and CSS, we have some of the frameworks like Bootstrap, w3.css, PineGrow, Tailwind, etc. So they automate some of the codes of HTML and CSS. You only need to learn their classes and you call from them. Also, JavaScript has its own library. So if you see languages like jQuery, JSON, React, Angular, JS, the ones that you are seeing on the screen, those are the hybrids from JavaScript. So some of the developers automated so many of the things. So if you know JavaScript is the mother of those ones, so the others you can grasp them in a span of time. CSS also has a library with the language called Sass. So it is also integrated into automation. So it is a preprocessor of the CSS. But it is recommended that you know CSS before you learn Sass. So there are also other number or hundreds of frameworks and libraries, but these ones are picked are the ones that are most popular. So you can begin with them. So the next part, we are going to backend. I will say that in web it's divided into two: backend, frontend, and backend. So backend is the server side. So the databases. So every information that you see on the screen must be stored somewhere. You can imagine like Facebook, you are posting a picture, but once you close the Facebook app, the picture cannot be retrieved again. You can imagine how sad it will be. So that image is uploaded on the database or a server. So there are a number of languages involved there. So a good example, one is PHP, Hypertext Processor. So it is also one of the server-side languages. So it may act like the work of JavaScript on front end. It also makes the work to be dynamic from the database end and to the client side. So it coagulates that way. So the next one is SQL, Structured Query Language. It's the language that is used in the tables in the database, the inside or the inner core of the database. So manipulating the tables, creating the tables and etc. So that's the standard language that is used. Then the next one can be ASP. So it is done by the C family or C# in the ASP.NET databases and etc. So there are many languages in the backend, but these are the ones that I recommend you because they are standard and very famous, popular, and they are also marketable. Now the next one is Node.js. So this one is also a hybrid of JavaScript. So the one who invented it and wanted to avoid PHP and JavaScript. Just if you learn JavaScript, you can just learn Node.js, and Node.js will enable JavaScript to run on the databases. So it goes hand in hand with a database called Raspberry Pi. So that's the way to go. Another one can be VB or Visual Basics. So this one goes in hand with a database named Microsoft Access. Although this one is powerful, but it is not commercial. So I don't recommend you to learn it as a professional because it cannot be used in large activities or projects. So those I've listed have been languages. So there are also a number of databases that are incorporated with the above languages. So the most basic or the standard ones is MySQL, SQL Server, Microsoft Access. Those ones are examples of free, and they are open source, they are free to use. You can download them in the advanced tutorials. When you reach the database, I will show you the installation procedures and how to use them, how to create tables in them. So we shall go with them. We shall deal with the first first four, because from Oracle, MongoDB, Sybase, Infomix and others, they are highly commercial and they are not also free. So we are going to do, but you don't worry if you don't know all of them. You only need to know one of them because most of the features are common. So if you know both front end and back end, then you are qualified to be a full stack developer, of which has assisted me in my career path. As you from my introductory screen, you saw where I'm working with them. So another area I've said, I'm also dealing with Android apps. So all the apps that you see on the phone you download from the Play Store. So this is the technology that is involved. So you may use Java language or Kotlin, which is also the current one, and the XML. XML will act as HTML in web. And be notified that HTML was created from XML. So XML is the root mother of everything. So we shall use a framework known as Android Studio, so that it automates some of the XML codes and even Java or Kotlin, and things will be fine. So the last part that we shall do together is graphics. So in graphics, if you have ever seen powerful photos and videos, how to edit them, I will show you. But we shall start with the Microsoft Paint, which is in the packages of computer, the basics ones. They are also taught in high school in Kenya syllabus if you are a Kenya, and another syllabus of the sort. Then we shall go to Microsoft Publisher. We shall design the cards, we shall design the magazines and also etc. So we shall also go deep in Adobe Master Collection. If you have ever heard of that company, it has powerful softwares for editing both videos, text and photos, like Illustrator, Photoshop, Adobe Premiere Pro, Master Effects, and etc. So we shall also look at the other 2D or 3D, 4D graphical softwares like Maya 3D and etc. There are so many of them. So good luck as we shall progress together. So in the next tutorial, or in the first tutorial, we shall start entirely with HTML from scratch. I wish you a happy and enjoy this channel.